Described as one of the most influential animes of all time, and rightfully so, Lupin III helped pave the way for some of our favorite properties across all media. Picture Lupin III as the Illuminati of anime. Even though you might not seen or read Lupin III, odds are you've come across something that has been influenced by the series. And since today is Lupin III's 52nd birthday, I decided to make this video celebrating the legacy of this heavily influential series. So if you're ready to hear me mispronounce 99% of the names, let's get to the video. In order to talk about the full history of Lupin III, we must learn about Lupin I. Well, not the movie coming out later this year, but the character Arsene Lupin, a gentleman thief created by French writer Maurice Leblanc in 1905, 62 years before the manga of Lupin III released. Leblanc's character Arsene Lupin was originally called Arsene Lupin, until a French politician of the same name protested. Arsene Lupin is described by Leblanc as a gentleman thief, master of disguise, and was able to outsmart even Sherlock Holmes. Well, not if Sir Arthur Conan Doyle has anything to do with it, who stopped Leblanc from writing a crossover between the two characters, Leblanc then making his own British detective, Sherlock Holmes.
Ordinary safe, it couldn't stand up to dynamite. Sherlock Holmes.
Arsene Lupin was introduced in a series of short stories, serialized in the magazine Je suis tout, and received notable fame, spawning movies, cartoons, and even a crossover video game with Sherlock Holmes.
Managed, thanks to your remarkable intelligence, to deny me any margin of maneuverability to decide in advance should we find ourselves in the situation in which we are. It was a chess match, and there is nothing remaining on the table but the two kings. This is a classic stalemate, wouldn't you agree?
In the late 60s, Kazuhiko Kato became a professional manga artist, and in 1965 debuted with Playboy School under the alias Ija Gatsuma, until the editor of the magazine suggested he go by the alias Monkey Punch. He agreed since he didn't want to displease the boss, although he didn't like the name, but went with it since he was only hired for a 3-month job, which is when he started the manga Lupin III. Due to the popularity, he was stuck with the name Monkey Punch. As you can probably tell, the title character Arsene Lupin III was inspired and is the supposed grandson of Maurice Leblanc's character, without the permission of the Leblanc estate, who were in charge of the character after Leblanc's death in 1941. His estate were not enthused with the character created by Monkey Punch. Due to the lack of Japan's trade copyright, Lupin remained the same in Japan, but had his name changed when released outside of the country, changing his name to Lupin or Wolf.
That was the wolf disguised to look like me and you let him get away!
By the time Leblanc's estate filed legal action against the series, the name entered into a common use, since Leblanc had been dead 70 years. Although his name wasn't fully in the clear due to other countries having different laws, having his name stay changed in several countries, going as I mentioned before, Lupin and Wolf, as well as Cliffhanger, and in France, he was known as Edgar Detective Cambrioleur, meaning Edgar Detective Burglar. The Lupin III manga premiered in Weekly Manga Action on August 10th, 1967, 52 years ago today. As mentioned before, it was only supposed to be a 3-month job, but Monkey Punch created a media franchise, with his character spawning mangas, TV shows, video games, CDs, TV specials, musicals, animated and live-action films, with Lupin III's 6th series airing in 2018 and a new theatrical film coming out later this year. The series follows Arsene Lupin III, a carefree thief whose profession in life is to steal from bad people, described as a mixture of James Bond and the original Arsene Lupin, and was supposed to be his grandson until Monkey Punch was urged to keep them separate. His right-hand man and former enemy, Daisuke Jigen, an American mobster who before working for Lupin worked in multiple crime syndicates around the world, and is based on the actor James Coburn, particularly his performance in Magnificent Seven, and later on the actor who dubbed James in the Magnificent Seven, Kiyoshi Kobayashi, would later on act as a voice for Jigen. Personally, Jigen is one of my favorite characters in anime, if not my favorite. Their on-again off-again partner, Goemon, based off a kaiju from the Seven Samurai, which was adapted into the Magnificent Seven, which helped create Jigen, created because Monkey Punch felt the series needed a Japanese character. Goemon is a samurai who gets his name from Ishikawa Goemon, a legendary Japanese thief similar to that of Robin Hood, who was executed by being boiled alive with his son. After a failed assassination attempt, the name fits Goemon, since he usually is aiding Lupin and Jigen on their heists. Fujiko Mai, designed as a Bond girl. Fujiko was originally the name given to multiple female characters at the start of Lupin III, until Monkey Punch got tired of writing new female characters in each story, and then Fujiko Mai, a counterpart of Lupin, was created. Her relationship with Lupin is described by Monkey Punch as not necessarily lovers, not necessarily husband and wife, but more just having fun as man and woman with each other. Fujiko, named after Mount Fuji with the ko added for a female suffix. Her last name Mine, meaning summon, in reference to her namesake. Though she has helped Lupin in many heists, she isn't afraid to backstab him if it can help her. And finally, Inspector Zenigata. A part of the International Police, Zenigata is the rival to Lupin. His sole purpose in life is to bring Lupin to justice, and his drive to catch Lupin can even awaken him from a coma.
Resolve to capture Lupin III.
Lupin!
Although a semi-antagonist, with his goal to arrest Lupin and his gang, Zenigata will join forces with Lupin if there is a greater foe, making him more of an anti-hero than a villain. Monkey Punch said that if Lupin was to end, Zenigata and Lupin would either both need to win or fail in their game of cat and mouse, or simply they just get too old. An anime adaptation was released of Lupin III, ran from 1971 until 1972, which ran for 23 episodes, and in 1977, its successor, Lupin III Part 2, was released and aired 155 episodes, and later on in the series run, Hayao Miyazaki directed 10 episodes before he stopped writing for TV. In 1978 marked the first movie for Lupin III, titled Mystery of Mamu, later retitled to Lupin vs. the Clone. The film was a financial success, making it the 9th highest grossing Japanese film of 1979. Hayao Miyazaki would return to Lupin III to direct and co-write his first animated feature, the sequel to Mystery of Mamu, The Castle of Cagliostro. Miyazaki's involvement in the film made for a departure of the character's typical traits, making for a family-friendly film versus the not-safe-for-work predecessor. Some fans were not pleased with the new take on Lupin, while others described Lupin in the film as growing up. Miyazaki's version of the Lupin portrayed him as a gallant hero versus the ruthless criminal he typically is.
This is the kind of adventure I've dreamed about having all my life. I want no reward.
Either way, the film is a critical success, with a supposed quote from Steven Spielberg saying, "One of the greatest adventure movies of all time." The quote was featured on Manga Entertainment's DVD release of the film. 6 years later, Miyazaki would be a part of the creation of Studio Ghibli, an animation studio which revolutionized the animation industry, and houses some of the most respected animated films of all time. The Castle of Cagliostro was oddly repurposed to a game called Cliffhanger. The game would take scenes from Mystery of Mamu and the Castle of Cagliostro and repurposed it into a Dragon Lair type game. Published by Stern Electronics, Cliffhanger changed a lot of the movie to repurpose it into a shorter video game. Lupin had his name changed to Cliffhanger, a name that feels right out of Phoenix Wright, in the game. Due to the longevity of Lupin III and its massive success, the series has inspired people for the past 52 years to go off and tell their own stories from all over the medium. Hideo Kojima, creator of the Metal Gear series, said that he based Snake's personality off of Lupin, which Snake's voice actor, just so happened, played Lupin in a dub of the Castle of Cagliostro. Funny, seeing as Snake is in Smash Bros. Alongside Joker from the Persona series. Joker has a heavy influence with Lupin, with them both being thieves, but you can really see the similarities with his persona, Arsene, who not only is named after Lupin, but also sports Lupin's signature red jacket. While Disney alumni John Musker and Ron Clements, co-directors of Hercules, Aladdin, Moana, The Little Mermaid, and many more, the final act of The Great Mouse Detective was based off of the final fight between Lupin and Count Lazar, which was also paid homage to in the Batman the Animated Series when Clock King fights Batman. Below the series to take the most inspiration from Lupin III is Cowboy Bebop. Series director Shinichiro Watanabe is a big fan of Lupin III, and you can see his passion for Lupin III with his work on Cowboy Bebop. In an interview with Watanabe, he stated he was heavily influenced by director Masaki Osumi work on Lupin III's TV series. In 1982, a French animated spin-off series was in the works by DiC, in collaboration with the Japanese producers of Lupin III. The series was going to be about Lupin's descendant, Lupin VIII, and would follow the adventures of Lupin VIII and the other descendants to the Lupin cast, all taking place in the 22nd century, but due to LeBlanc's estate stepping in, the series was scrapped and the pilot was only partially found and is considered lost media. Although DiC would repurpose the series in order to create a new TV series called Inspector Gadget. Maybe it's a good thing that the series was never picked up, although visually looking great, having spin-offs that take place in the future rarely has come out good. On April 11th of this year, Kazuhiko Kato died at the age of 81 due to pneumonia. Although his legacy lives on as Monkey Punch, even if he did hate the name. Thank you for watching my video on Lupin III. Hope you like it. If you want to see me make more videos like this one, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.